The best choice in online auto sports entertainment. We are live here coming to you from Kansas Motor Speedway with the Stock Car Evolution Elite Pro Series here. Chase race number 6. And it's going to be a hot night here tonight at Kansas City. So I tell you what, working the booth with me tonight, they call me the Cowboy, J.D. Webb. Matt Close, he's along for the ride here tonight. Also the Channonay brothers, Bob and Ray Channonay, joining us tonight. Of course, John Westling, Magic Fingers, we call him, back in the office. He's pushing the buttons on the cameras for you tonight, making everything look real pretty for you. But I'll tell you what, a lot of numbers we want to go through here tonight. But first, Matt, Kansas Speedway here, 1.5-mile track. What's it like here?
Well, JD, from my experience, this is a really loose track. I mean, it's got a lot of bumps in it. I saw it a lot today in the Cup race, even though that track's repaved now, just the way it's banked and everything. It's hazardous to that loose on the inside line, especially when these guys start to pinch each other, which we saw a lot the other night with these ESRL guys. They're not afraid to rough each other up a little bit and put themselves out of line. But, JD, I'd mostly say that they're going to struggle with a lot of looseness tonight.
You know, talking to a couple of guys down in the garage earlier, you're absolutely right. You're struggling with looseness. We're hearing that the tires, fuel can go 60, maybe 60 laps. Looking at green flag stops, somewhere between 50 and 60. Of course, crew chief's not willing to give up that kind of top secret information. But tires may be an issue. This coming from a lot of the drivers who put a lot of practice in. 40 laps, maybe. Okay, after 40 laps, looking for a severe push. Right rear tire going to heat up a little bit. Very loose conditions after 40 laps. So that's possibly, if we have any cautions, that's when they'll come out. But let's talk about the cautions here for a minute. Last time these guys were at Kansas back in April 22nd, in fact. This was race number 8 of their 36-week season here with the Elite Pro Series. 8 cautions. Warren Peed took the win home that night. Of course, Warren leads the points here in the chase. We'll get to that here in a minute. Travis Joyner, Gary Madu, Ron Larkin, Dustin Storm, Mike Kuhn, Philip Stocks, Lane Allen, Ray Moss, and Tom McKeever were your top 10 finishers back in April. We'll hook that up with you here just a minute as we go through the points. Ray Channonay in the house here tonight. Ray, what's your expectations from Kansas City tonight?
Well, I'm expecting a really exciting race tonight. We got some primo drivers here, and I think if they maintain cool heads and drive the way I expect them to, you're going to see some side-by-side, and you're going to see some really good racing tonight, fellas. These guys are a cream of the crop of SC and ESRL, so sit back and enjoy the show tonight.
You bet, and brother Bob Channonay up here with us as well. Bob, your thoughts for the race tonight?
I think it's going to be pretty exciting due to the fact that these are Pro Cup Series races. I'm not going to pick any one individual, but I'll tell you what, you're going to see a real class show tonight with these guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, let's take them down through the points and let everybody know who's who and who's where here in the Elite Pro Series. Got some funky-looking numbers here coming at you, and this game ain't going to be over until the last race, I guarantee you. The points are really, really tight. Starting at the top here with the Elite Pro Series, now Warren Peed, he's got a couple of wins already under his belt here during the chase. Warren Peed coming in the leader here. And then right behind him is Tom McKeever. Now, Tom finished 2nd last week. Warren Peed finished 8th last week. And Tom McKeever is 12 points behind Warren Peed. So I'll tell you, it ain't over yet, Cowboy. McKeever can certainly work himself right up to the back door of Warren Peed there real easily. Now, Warren Peed finished 1st last time out here at Kansas. Tom McKeever finished 10th here at Kansas back in April. So we're hoping that McKeever might be able to keep it together, stay inside the top 5, and chase down Warren Peed here tonight. In 3rd position, Matt, and I'll let you take the bottom 5. In 3rd position, Philip Stocks. Philip finished in 7th position last time out here at Kansas. He won the race last week. He sits 3rd. He's 14 points off the lead, just 2 points in back of Tom McKeever. And in 4th position, Mike Hebb. Mike finished in 12th position in April here at Kansas Speedway. He sits in the 4th position, and Mike Hebb is 24 points behind the lead, 10 points in back of Philip Stock. So certainly, you know, I mean, all of these guys, from about 2nd all the way down to 9th, a lot of movement could be had here at Kansas. Travis Joyner sits in the middle seat here. He finished second last time out here at Kansas City. Fifth here tonight, up a couple of positions, 34 points off the lead, just 10 in back of Mike Hebb. And Matt, take us on down the bottom five here, and I'll tell you, it looks really close.
Yeah, starting in the 6th place in points tonight. Also finishing 6th last week, you've got Dan Mueller. Looked very strong the other night as a race car driver. 34 points behind, and it looks like he has 1 win on the season so far. So maybe he's got to rack up a few more wins to put himself back in the game a little bit closer. In the 7th position in points, you've got Mike Kuhn with a horrible finish last week for him. Hopefully better luck this week for him. He finished 16th last week. He's 38 points out from Warren Peed. And in the 8th position, you've got Ray Moss for points. He lost 2 spots in the points last week with a 17th place finish. He's now 39 points back, and it looks like he's got 9 poles on this. Or I'm sorry, he's got 1 pole. That's Mike Kuhn I'm looking at with 9 poles on the season. A strong qualifier Mike Kuhn is. But Ray Moss he's got 2 wins on the season so far, and maybe he can rack up a couple, just like everybody else here, and put himself closer to Warren Peed. In 9th, you've got Gary Cross in the 9th position for points. A very average run for him last week, finishing 9th. 41 points back from the leader of Warren Peed. He's got 3 poles. Maybe he can get a pole tonight and put himself in a great starting position for a win. And in 10th position, rounding out your top 10, you got Dustin Storm, 66 points back, a little further out than everybody else. He's got a lot of work under his belt to do, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, as it shapes out here, watching these points, I mean, like I said at the top, from 2nd position on down through, let's say 9th position, all of these guys, it can be a dogfight here at Kansas tonight. This is chase race number 6, 4 to go here with the Elite Pro Series here at ESRL Stock Car Evolution. I'll tell you what, if you haven't messed around with this game, you got to get it, Cowboys. StockCarEvolution.com. Do you have what it takes? And get this thing downloaded and start making use of it. Fantastic simulation racing here. They have the trucks, the nationwide cars, and the Cup cars. Tons of fun, as you'll see here tonight. But I'll tell you, points are one thing, but let's talk about what it's going to take to get around this track here tonight, Matt. 50 to 60 laps on fuel, tires 40 laps maybe. What are these guys going to have to do to take care of their equipment in order to be there at the end?
Well, JD, I think that they're really going to have to probably back up their turns, take care of those tires, especially the right front and the right rear here, that loose condition. Really putting a beating on that right rear tire, as we'll see go on through the night. And where you're saying that their tires aren't going to last the full fuel run, I mean, these guys, I think if they haven't done the whole tire run of 40 laps that you're telling me, that we're going to see a lot of blowouts tonight if these guys can't keep track of how their tires feel and know when they need to pit, because I mean that fuel monitor is basically going to become useless.
You bet. And we're looking at, my math is right, we're looking at about possibly 3 stops for at least, if we go green flag, possibly. So we'll see what happens there. Remember, I mean, the crew chiefs down there in the garage, they're just not going to, give out a bunch of information, top secret information, and let the other crew chiefs find out about it. But 50 to 60 laps on fuel, that could be a thing here tonight. Of course, fuel strategy, it may have an effect later on in the race, but only time will tell. Now, tonight's race being sponsored by Hostile Contact Simulation Servers, providing quality, reliable, and affordable game and voice over IP servers. And the voice over IP, that's the Ventrilo, the TeamSpeak, and what have you, that is so commonplace in a lot of these league games, even the shooter games. But I tell you, Hostile Contact servers, they have servers for the shooter games like America's Army. I mean, I know a lot of these guys play these third-person shooter games. I have one. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But all the Battlefield releases, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, and a whole lot more. They also have all the popular racing games, ARCA, R-Factor, Live for Speed, and of course, soon to be released, the R-Factor 2 professional web hosting packages also available, guys. You need to check them out, hostilecontact.com. sponsoring the race here tonight for Stock Car Evolution. Now, let me tell you about my shooter game. It only lasts for about 10 minutes. I shoot everything in sight, and the thing comes up and says, "You lose, game over." What do you think about that?
Well, JD, in shooter games, it's not meant to shoot the good people. I mean, if you go in there and just blow everybody out, I guess you get in trouble.
I think they call that venting.
Well, JD, hopefully we don't see too much of that venting out here on the racetrack today. I mean, saw some earlier on today with Joey Logano and I guess Danica Patrick venting a little bit on Landon Castle, but hopefully these guys can race it clean and still race hard, but hopefully not too much venting.
You bet. I'll tell you what, I did the old Wikipedia thing, and since they've redone Kansas, top qualifying speed right now, I believe Casey Kane still has it, 28,219 at 191 miles an hour, dude. Can you believe that from Kansas City? And as we get ready to get things rolling here, watching these guys practice down here a little bit, looked like we may have some issues coming off of turn 4. Of course, we saw them the other night. I believe it was Friday night for a kind of a fun race. They come out here, did 50 laps in the trucks, and then 100 laps in the nationwide cars. That was a ton of fun. And guys like Travis Joyner, I think Cody Sears was also a top runner on Friday night here as well.
Yeah, JD, if you don't remember, Cody Sears was that guy battling for the first position in that second heat where the 100 laps come down the end, just couldn't make that move on the high side, and that cost him the end, trying to do anything he could do to bump John Kennedy out of the way. John Kennedy just did his homework on that track and said, hey, my man can't go to the outside, and just hugged that white line the entire way around.
You bet. I'll tell you what, clock is ticking here. Why don't we go ahead and send it on down. The Cactus Cuties are standing by to present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And we are back live at Kansas City Speedway. Thank you to the Cactus Cuties for the best rendition of the national anthem that I in the 29 car. Out him, the 85 of Tom McKeever. Matt.
Starting in the second row inside, you've got the number 8, Cody Sears, a strong driver here in the ESRL series. And then on the outside of him, you got the 24, Ray Moss.
The 21 car.
Starting 7th, you've got Tony Oscar in the 43, and on the outside of him, you've got the number 5 with Joel Brown.
Be starting in 9th position, and the number car outside him, Warren Peed, your points leader, in 10th position in that 61 car.
On the starting in the 11th position, the number 6, Dan Mueller, and on the outside, you've got the number 19 of Travis Joyner.
And Mike Kuhn, he'll bring in 13th position in the 25 car, starting in 14th, the 7 of Dennis Kelly.
Starting 15th, you've got the 14, John Kennedy, and on the outside of him, the 63, Gary Madu.
And Greg Gurk, he'll be bringing up the tail end of the field here tonight in the number 10 car. Philip Stocks pulling down a 30.665 to McKeever's 30.681 from the pole here tonight as we catch the green flag, and we are off and running at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, JD carrying some high speeds at this track as they've got to brake hard into these flat turns. They're not quite as banked as some of these tracks. Carry about speeds 155 to the turn. You've got that 29 car out front by a car length right now.
We've had pretty much single file all the way back to 6th position back here. 21 car Paul Rogers up on the outside with the 43 car of Tony Oscar on the bottom. Looks like Oscar's going to go for the position here coming off of turn 4, and down the front stretch he goes. Rogers giving up that position to Oscar.
Yeah, looking back up front at that point, at the point of the field, you've got Philip Stocks and Tom McKeever. Both going at it right now. It looks like Tom McKeever is just going to lay in there and kind of ride single file for a little bit until they get the feel out on this racetrack.
And let's take it on back to 7th position back here, your points leader. He's won 2 races here during the chase so far. Warren Peed in that number 61 car. He sits at the top of the pile. Now he also won back here in April as well, guys. So Warren Peed looking to put that 61 car up to the front here before this thing is over tonight.
Back up front, you've got that 85 Tom McKeever going on the inside. Took that spot away from Philip Stocks as they're going down the back stretch. McKeever now heading into 3 with a car length or so over Philip Stocks and probably looking to pull away. Clean air is such an important thing in these cars. Just the amount of draft and the wings on these cars, the hole they put in the air.
2 laps in books here at Kansas City Speedway. Kansas Speedway. I don't know why I keep calling it Kansas City. But I want to remind everybody that's watching the stream here tonight on ETV Live, hey, check out the chat room. Click that link right below the player there on the front page. Come on and join us here in the chat room and yak with the broadcasters up here in the booth. But in the meantime, 9th position, Joel Brown down here. Joel Brown, he's had a heavy hand in the development of this game as well. Joel Brown, Gary Madu, of course, the promo guy here at SCE, and also Mike Schreiner. I don't believe Mike Schreiner's in the house here tonight, but Joel Brown certainly, I think he does a lot of coding here for the game. He's currently running in 8th position, just going around Paul Rogers in the 21.
Yeah, Joel Brown doing an amazing thing for this game, as we heard from Ray and Bob just the other night, talking about all the hard work that they put into this R-Factor sim, figuring out the black flags and everything, so they're automatic for everybody on pit road. And just amazing work by guys like Joel Brown putting the game together.
There we go, and it's checking the chat room over here. Mike Schreiner, he is logged in. He's actually the race official here tonight, so I'll tell you what, I wonder who slipped him $20 to allow Gary Madu out on the track here tonight. Gary Madu, the 63 car, he's running in 13th position, guys. Gary Madu, he's the, I guess they call him the promo guru here at Stock Car Evolution. He does all the promotional stuff for him here. He's in the chase here tonight, currently running in 13th position, and I believe he's pretty much out here just to have some fun.
Yeah, JD, I'm seeing a strange sight right now. All the way back in 16th position, we've got John Kennedy. He had such a strong run the other night at Charlotte. It's starting to shape up like he's either just laying back trying to save those tires, maybe going for the fuel strategy, running the race in reverse, but we saw him up front just the other night.
Yeah, you bet, and thanks for reminding me. My bad. For some reason, I thought we were here Friday night, but you're absolutely right. We were at Charlotte. Quite a bit of fun. Like I said, 50 laps in the trucks. Then they had to climb out. They get a 10-minute session in between. Had to climb in a wide car. You know, I mean, you're talking, you know, jumping from one planet to the other. and it was just a ton of fun. And you're absolutely right. John Kennedy was one of the biggest threats during the entire night. 16th position right now. In front of him, though, quite a ways in front of him, is going to be Mike Kuhn up there in 15th position. Mike Kuhn, he sits in 7th position. He's down a couple of points, or down a couple of notches this week. 38 points below Warren Peed. But let me tell you something. He's 1 point in front of Ray Moss, and he's 4 points away from Dan Mueller. So this could be a huge points night for all of these guys.
Yeah, especially for a guy like Tom McKeever, who's not that far back off of Warren Peed. If Warren Peed just loses a few more positions, a few more cars in between them, that starts to really close in the points for the lead here.
Bet just joining the chat room, Ron Larkin in the house. Ron, good evening. Good to see you watching the race here on ETV Live. Glad you could pick it up and join us tonight. Keep the cautions away. Well, I'll tell you what, looking last time we were here, this is back in April, we gave you the stats at the top of the hour here during the pre-race. They had 8 cautions, so expect at least that. This is the chase race, so, more cautions? I mean, who knows? I mean, it's all about points here tonight, guys. So anything could happen, but after 10 laps in the books here right now, these guys are looking pretty sweet. And I'll tell you, Matt, as I scroll through the cars going one by one, it looks like these guys are just on autopilot for now. A couple of positions changed already, but right now, hey, push that cruise control button in. We got a long ways to go yet.
Yeah, and I mean, most of these guys single file staying in the draft, and we talked how important tire wear is going to be here tonight, and it just seems like a lot of these guys just cruising in the turns and really backing them up. But if we go back to the 4th and 5th place position for right now, Joel Brown stalking that 61 of Warren Peed, the points leader, as they're coming down the backstretch into 3, giving them a little bit of space always on entry, but gaining it right back down on these straightaways. Joel's got a nice run up off the turns.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look at an issue with Tony Oscar. I believe he's in 15th position. The 43 car of Tony Oscar comes off the turn. I want to say that's turn 4 from my vantage point here. It tags the wall, does a little bit of damage to the right rear panel of that 43 car. So Tony Oscar almost completely sideways. The wall is what keeps him from spinning the rest of the way out, but certainly dropping like a rock. Damage to looks like actually the front and the back on the right side of that 43 car.
Yep, back up a little ways in front of him for the 10th place position. It's Travis Joyner and Paul Rogers. They were side by side just moments ago. Travis Joyner able to fend off Paul Rogers as Paul Rogers is trying to pass him on the high side. But it looks like he keeps going to that white line, trying to get that little bit of an inside move on Travis. It's just not happening for him.
You bet. And as that battle continues on, Mike Hebb sitting back there watching all that play out. But I tell you, Kansas Speedway, like a lot of tracks, like Charlotte the other night, multiple racing groups here if you can make it work. But Matt, that outside line will only work for so long. If you stay up there, too much, you will end up burning up those right side tires for sure.
Oh yeah, JD, and that's going to be an important thing is when these guys do want to go with that high line, they have to remember that they just got to back up those turns just a little bit more, and so they can get on the gas a little bit earlier to gain up that extra ground that they are having to travel on that high side and the extra wear. But going back to that Paul Rogers and Travis Joyner battle for 9th place, Paul Rogers finally making the move on the inside line, getting a little on the apron, a little swirly, but Travis Joyner slid up the track and let him go on by.
All right, and we're here in the 43 car. Tony Oscar wound up putting it behind the wall, guys. Just quite a bit of damage on that car. Crew chief decided to end the night for Tony Oscar. So the 43 car pushed behind the wall, up on the hauler, done for the night here at Kansas Speedway. And we're here in the 19 car. Travis Joyner back here in 14th position. Just about the same thing that Oscar did. Hits the wall. Takes a chunk of souvenir with him. A lot of damage to the right rear of that machine as well. So Travis Joyner, who was also a contender here Friday night at Charlotte Speedway, having his issues as well.
Yeah, JD, I finally caught up with the replay of that wreck, and it's like we were talking about earlier on, just that right rear wearing out on these guys. We're finally completing our 16th lap here at Kansas Speedway, and just that right rear looked like it slid a little too much on him. He wasn't prepared for it and put that back end in the wall.
And more news, the 14 car of John Kennedy, which is a surprise, has pushed it behind the wall. He's done for the night as well. John Kennedy, who I thought might have been able to stay with it, stay up front here tonight. Obviously having some issues with that car. We'll see if we can't get him on the radio here in a little bit and see what happened. But John Kennedy out of the race here for tonight.
Yeah, JD, our points leader, Warren Peed, has passed Cody Sears. Cody Sears actually falling back, who was in the 3rd place position not too long ago, falling all the way back to 7th, probably dealing with a loose, tight condition on that car, as we talked about earlier on tonight. But Warren Peed picking up another position, saving himself another point in the lead from Philip Stocks and Tom McKeever, both close in this points battle. And I believe if Philip Stocks finishes where they are right now, is only going to be about 12 points behind.
And as that battle continues on, pretty much single file all the way around the track here, guys. But the racing action seems to be right up here, about 9th position. Still watching this action with the 21 car. Paul Rogers, Cody Sears up there in front of him in 8th. And then Ray Moss in that 24 machine taking it right down to the apron line down here. Watching these guys, you know, some of them are running about the center of the track, coming off the turns. A lot of them taking it right down to that apron line. Now the racing surface can take you right down to the edge of the grass down there. You see that other white line, that is legal territory here at Kansas Speedway. So if you've got what it takes, Cowboy, you can get around down there and make use of it. But I would not advise it. It's a different kind of a surface. Actually, it's the same surface, but the transition from bank to apron is rather distinct. So you want to be very careful about getting down there, even coming down through the straightaway.
Yeah, JD, later on in the race, we'll see a lot of guys utilizing that apron, coming down the front stretch, especially on the last lap, trying to pick up every foot you can. But you're sure right down on that apron, it's 0 degrees of banking on that straightaway. So once you hit that, the car is just sliding all over the place, and it's caused a lot of trouble for a lot of these drivers before.
I've been watching Joel Brown, 4th position here, guys, in that number 5 Farmers.com machine. And I'll tell you, Joel looks like he's being very methodical about his turns. He gets it right down to the apron. Almost looks like he's putting 2 tires across that white line, using that track down there. Of course, now he's making a fool out of me, but here for several laps, he's been taking it right down to that white line and making use of that white line to help him get that car turned around. And here he goes off into the turn again, right down to that white line, almost putting 2 tires across the line there. But he's been very methodical that way.
Yeah, well, if we can get a camera on the battle for 7th, starting to heat up between Ray Moss and Paul Rogers. Paul Rogers is one that definitely puts more than half that car down on the apron when he's trying to make an inside pass. But it looks like Ray Moss has just slid up right there, and he's just going to let Paul Rogers go right by on that white line.
Probably the smart thing to do, since we're going to be, well, let's call it almost halfway. Actually a little bit better than halfway through a tire run. This is according to the drivers down in the garage after practice session today. They were talking 40 plus laps on tires. Look for some issues to start creeping up somewhere around 40 laps in on these tires. So and you'll see that by the cars pushing up you know, to the outside, coming off the turns. And then, of course, loose conditions as well going in. So we'll look for the back end to wiggle a little bit, possibly going in. And then a big push from the middle off, and as these tires start wearing down. But I'll tell you what, before that gets to that point, why don't we go ahead and step away. Let's take our first commercial break of the night. You're watching live, ETV Live, Cowboy. Stock Car Evolution Elite Pro Series from Kansas Speedway. Don't wander off. We'll be right back. Stock Car Evolution 2012 brings the intensity, grit, and roaring sound of NASCAR to the PC and R Factor. You'll quickly find that it is a highly detailed simulation of one of the most detailed and realistic to grace the PC. Stock Car Evolution is a scratch-built stock car simulator mod for R Factor, which has been in development since 2005. It uses real-world information to develop the physics in all three NASCAR series, resulting in the most realistic driving experience possible. A dedicated team of developers, from former Microsoft and NASCAR software engineers to software developers, adds to what is already the most realistic NASCAR simulator on the planet. Simply put, Stock Car Evolution is a true stock car simulator. Stock Car Evolution 2012's new level of detail in both physics and graphics, combined with years of development, make this version the best stock car racing simulator to date. Stock Car Evolution would also like to thank all of the leagues that tested our beta versions at ESRL and provided valuable information and feedback. You can't get the thrilling sense of speed, the ever-present danger, the feel of the track, the nerves of steel required while watching it on TV. Stock Car Evolution 2012 does all that and more, offering up thrilling racing action with the realism that hardcore fans crave. Do you have what it takes? Find out at StockCarEvolution.com. Our Factor 2 servers now available at HosteleContact.com. You order your server now at the introductory price of only $1.49 USD per slot. We will automatically upgrade your server to the full release R Factor 2 game as soon as it is released from beta. HosteleContact.com now offering R Factor 2 beta servers for all pre-release orders. Our pre-release price is $1.49 a slot. This price will be adjusted as we evaluate resource usage, racers anti-cheat, and R Factor hot lots will be available soon. And we are back live here at Kansas Speedway. 31 laps in the books here, 133 on the board here tonight. This is chase race number 6 for Stock Car Evolution's ESRL Elite Pro Series. And these guys are putting on quite the show here tonight at Kansas Speedway. But I tell you what, I was looking at some lap times here, watching this 21 car, Paul Rogers, back here in 7th position. He's another one like Joel Brown, very methodical in his turns. Takes it right down to that white line, puts 2 tires on top, help turn that car around. His lap times matched the leaders at 32 324s here a couple of laps ago. So Paul Rogers pretty much on cruise control tonight, and that's probably what I would expect, Matt, out of these guys. You know, in order to just kind of maintain here a little bit. He's inside the top 10, so he's got a good shot at getting up to the top 5.
Oh yeah, just it's become very like patient racing here as these guys are just cruising along here, especially one up in second place position, the 85 Atomic Fever. Almost being methodical with the way he's driving, probably putting a lot of nerve on Philip Stocks. I know as a driver, when you have somebody behind you like that and you know he's faster than you, but he's just sitting there, it's just rambling your brain about what you need to do to improve your speed to go faster than him the next run, because you know he's not showing you what he has.
Yeah, then let's go to Bob Channonnet here for just a minute. I want to talk about some of these points here, Bob. You know, let's take a guy like Travis Joyner. He's sharing the seat with Dan Mueller. They're only 4 points out of Mike Kuhn back down there in 7th position. You know, all these guys. Ray Moss, 1 point off Mike Kuhn. What's going through these guys' minds as they come here tonight to Kansas, knowing that it's just several points that separates them from the next position?
I think what we're seeing here, JD, is these guys here that are all close in points are really saving their stuff. Once we get toward the end of the race, it'll be a completely different story. I mean, they're all good friends out there, and they're each other clean and everything else. But come toward the end of this race, you're going to see a big difference in driving styles.
And, you know, and that's pretty indicative of, you know, most of the racing we even see on TV. You know, the first part of the race is kind of a no-brainer, kind of the ho-hum part. You know, go read a book, whatever, but come back in the last 20, 30 laps, and hey, that's when they let the cat out of the cage. And I tell you better put that parakeet back in its cage, because these boys will cut them loose here and let him fly. But for right now, Philip Stock's out in front. He's your leader. Been out there for quite some time. He started out here on the pole with a 30.665 to McKeever's 36.8. McKeever was on the outside, now trading positions here. But to Tom McKeever out in front, Philip Stocks apparently, yeah, I'm hearing that McKeever and Philip Stocks are teammates, so this may be a party going on up here in front. Warren Peed, who's your points leader, I'll tell you, from 10th all the way up to 3rd, so he's inside the top 5 in that 61 car. Joel Brown running in 4th. Joel having a pretty decent night here tonight. And also Dan Mueller in that number 6 machine running in 5th. That's your top 5 here tonight at 37 laps in the book. We're getting down to that critical point here, Matt. They're telling us, 40 plus laps. That's when we should start seeing troubles. 37 laps in the books here at Kansas.
Yeah, and I'm being told, even though this is a little based off from the R Factor Sim, Arca Sim Racing being quite similar, we saw a guy named Busa way back at Bristol. The fuel run we knew was a lot longer, but the tire run less. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot of trouble here tonight. Is these guys that he tried to stretch it out past where the tires were, and he knew that to make the full fuel run. But these guys probably going to attempt to do the same thing at some point tonight to try and maybe cut off a pit stop where they can. I think we're going to see somebody blow a tire soon here in the next probably 10 laps if what we're getting on the tire estimates is right.
Yeah, I'll look for that to happen, and I'll tell you, it's been pretty clean and green thus far, almost 40 laps in the books. We'll call it 40 as they come across the stripes here just momentarily. But last time out here in April, 8 cautions. Don't know when those occurred during the race. I tend to think they're probably coming at the end of a run here, but we'll see what happens as we approach a very difficult time. 40 laps on these tires right now, so we're going to be looking for possibly even some pit stops. Still early in the game here, so pitting off of sequence, might be a benefit here if you do it now. Apparently, we're seeing pit stops happening as we talk. In the 11 of Mike Hebb in 13th position on pit road, so it's going to be 4 new shoes, a bucket of oats for him. Cody Sears, he stops, smokes him up, getting into his box, 12th position, number 8 car. So again, it'll be 4 new shoes, a bucket of oats for Cody Sears as they break off and complete their pit stops here at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, and soon I'm sure we'll be seeing the leaders, Tom McKeever, Philip Stocks, pulling off here, but extending those extra couple laps. Where they're pitting right now, it looks like they're going to have to make at least 2 more on the tire run. Maybe Tom McKeever or Philip Stocks trying to extend this out to like lap 45 per se, JD, where they're more in a safe spot for that final run if they have to make it extended all the way.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, usually what governs your pit stop, you want to keep an eye on the leaders up here and try to stay straight in sequence with them. You don't want to get too far off sequence here with the leaders, otherwise you might wind up in trouble later on in the race. This may come out to a fuel strategy race here, looking at least 3 stops here tonight. Of course, my calculator said something along the lines of 2.4. That 0.4, that'll be the critical one at the end of the race here tonight. Watching Tom McKeever and Philip Stocks out here in front, they should be making pit stops here in the next, I'm going to say 7 to 8 laps here, I would think, guys, as we've already had a couple. Cody Sears and the 11 car Mike Hebb have already completed theirs, so they're on fresh tires and they should be making up some ground here.
Right. Yeah, JD, in the 61 of Warren Peet, our points leader, came down that last time. He was 3 seconds out from the 2 leaders, so it's going to be really interesting to see where he's going to fall with the leaders staying out a little bit longer. And just out of my corner eye, back in the 9th place, Gary Made, who slid up, probably blew a right rear tire, it almost looked like there, and now he's coming down pit road to put some 4 fresh ones.
You bet, 9th position. Roll back here on my monitor to see what happens. Oh, big time. Comes off the turn, and here's the loose conditions, and that right side just getting overheated. Madu comes off the turn, almost getting sideways. Same place where Tony Oscar did. car gets sideways hard into the outside wall, so tons of damage to the left, to the right side rear quarter panel of that red white number 63 machine, but manages to get it down on pit road. He may, looking at the speed crossing the line, he may have even gotten a penalty out of that. I'm not quite sure, but makes it into his pit box to get some repairs.
Alright, JD, we got some big news. Philip Stocks out of the second place position, finally making his pit stop along on the same lap as the 25 of Mike Kuhn, coming down to get the 4 fresh tires and fill it up with gas. But it looks like Tom McKeever's got to come in here soon, or he's going to really lose some time to his teammate of Philip Stocks as they continue to race around this track. The 85 Tom McKeever's still out.
And looks like Joel Brown just coming in. He'll get 4 new shoes, a bucket of oats. Watching Warren Pete in 8th position. Now Warren Pete has already made his pit stop. Remember, that's your points leader. So the 61 machine should be able to pick up quite a bit of time with McKeever and Stocks on pit road as McKeever makes his way down pit road. That's going to put Gary Cross out in front. Paul Rogers in that 21 machine. He looked to be a threat here tonight as well. So green flag pit stops underway at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, JD, and as I mentioned, the longer they stay out on this run, the longer they'll be out, the less they have to be out on these next 2 runs. So maybe Gary Cross, Paul Rogers trying to extend this and give themselves that cushion as I was talking about earlier, but really giving up a lot of time, and I don't understand that part of this.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was all about. 47 laps in the books, 48, 87 laps to go here at Kansas. So if you split that in half with a couple of pit stops, can they go that kind of distance? It's going to be 43, say 43 plus laps. We'll find out here in about 80 laps or so. But right now, looking at possibly 2 pit stops, maybe a third one, depending on how hard these guys run. And, you know, if anything happens out here. But right now, Gary Cross is your leader. Paul Rogers, Philip Stocks, Tom McKeever, who is just going around the 61 of Warren Pete. So McKeever, like a bullet shot out of a cannon, on his way past the 61 car. Now, I'm thinking the 61 car, is he just taking care of equipment? Is that why he let the 85 go past?
Well, JD, you have to remember that the 85's on like 5 laps fresher tires that Warren Pete pit a lot earlier, but that's also a result is he was 3.5 seconds behind before this pit stop was made, and now he's right there in that same window, right on the tailgate of Tom McKeever. But of course they're going to be a little bit faster for these next couple of laps as they're on a little bit fresher tires, but it looks like Warren Pete not giving up as much speed as he was before.
You bet. And 69 car of Gary Cross, I don't believe he has pitted yet, so he's giving up positions here to the guys up here in front. That's going to be Stocks, McKeever, and all these guys. So Gary Cross kind of dropping like a rocket a little bit. I don't think he's come down pit road yet, guys. And Paul Rogers, the 21 car, spins it out at the beginning of pit road here, right off the transition, coming down off the apron line here, just at the cone. So let me run this one back and see what happened to Paul Rogers. Makes a good transition down on the apron, too fast, and gets on the binders, gets it sideways, right at the commit cone, and goes sideways across the line. So he may wind up with a penalty out of that. We'll keep an eye on the race admin's chat here and see what happens to the 21 car Paul Rogers. But Paul certainly looking like to be a contender here tonight, in some big trouble here with 52 laps in the books.
Yeah, JD, 52 laps in, and Gary Cross still not pitting. This is 12 laps over the normal tire window that we were given at the beginning of this race. JD says about 60-something laps on gas, a little bit over. So Gary Cross extending this out, maybe trying to go the full fuel run and make it on one less stop than everybody else. He's really a guy back 9th in points, 41 points down, JD. And he's got nothing to lose really at this point, that he's going to do everything he can in this race to gain as many points as he possibly can. And that's the number 5 Joel Brown we see working his way by the leader on the outside.
You bet. You know, go back to Gary Cross here for just a minute. This might be just a little bit of redemption for him and his team. He finished 29th last time out here in April. So sitting in 9th place in the points, Gary Cross looking certainly for a better finish than 29th here tonight. as he just kind of minds his own business here, just making these laps. So Cross looking pretty smart here at Kansas tonight.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers out here in the chase are second through fifth, really, or all the way from first to the top five, all in the chase. But the main guys right now in second, third, and fourth: Philip Stocks, Tom Kieran, Warren Peed, just really out there racing each other hard. Warren Peed making up a lot of time on that last pit cycle we went through. Gary Cross is leading the field by 22 seconds, but that's less than a lap now, JD. And from what I've seen, most of these green flag pit stops taking about a lap and a half to actually complete.
You know, when I want to take it down here to Ray Shannon here for a minute. Here we go. You know, at the time these guys pitted, we're going to call it 86 laps left on the board. You split that in half with a couple of pit stops. Of course, we're hearing 40 laps is about when the tires start giving out. So 43 laps until your next pit stop. If you can push it that far, certainly you want to go at least that far. That's going to put these guys out at 43 laps at the end of the race. So I mean, at that point, what are we going to see? You know, in the last 10 laps here, as we know that these guys are going to be on 40 plus old tires, 40 lap plus old tires, Ray. You know, could the end of this thing be something we haven't seen before, or what are you expecting to see here tonight?
Well, what I'm experiencing here tonight is all different kinds of strategies, which makes this thing even that much more exciting. Gary Cross, you might be reminded that Gary Cross is last year's champion in the Elite Pro Series. So he's a codgy old coot from Booterham, Australia. I almost know what he's doing there. You're absolutely right. I think he's stretching out as best he can and try to get away with one less pit stop than everybody else, and still have enough at the end to take it across and grab the win. Don't discount Philip Stocks. I ran with him this morning, 75 laps in a 2 times fuel deal. The fuel run then this morning was only 25 laps, I believe. And within 20 to 21 laps, your right side tires went yellow. So Philip lapped the field this morning. So don't count him out by any stretch of the imagination.
Interesting news about Gary Cross. I'll tell you, from last year's champion, you know, interesting strategy may be working here for him, Matt. You know, staying out as long as he possibly can. That's going to put a lot less laps on his tires at the end of this thing, you know, when he comes down again. So, I don't know. He may be onto something.
Yeah, Judy, and I mean the 69 Gary Cross is just like this strategy I don't see working. I think if he really wanted it to work the whole 133 laps, he would have had to stay out at least 5-10 more laps. But of course, he's probably running out of gas the way Ray made it seem, with the 2 times only going about 25 laps. But now we're hearing that it may be problems with the 8 car back in the garage.
You bet. Looks like the 8 car Cody Sears has pushed his machine behind the wall here for the remainder of the race. I'm just looking down the list here, trying to see if we can't get in touch with Cody and find out what happened. But apparently he has gone to the hauler and has not come out. So we'll keep an eye on that situation here at Kansas Speedway. But in the meantime, talking about pit strategy, fuel mileage, tire wear, the whole 9 yards here, 60 laps in the book. So I'll tell you, we are approaching the halfway point here. Things have been awful sweet here tonight. Caution free thus far. Why don't we go ahead and step away? Let's take a commercial break. You're watching it live. ETV Live, Cowboy. It's the only choice. Don't wander off. We'll be right back.
Hey dude, are you ready to rock and roll? If that's cool, then you need to do it over at HD Radio Network. HD Radio Network, 4 stations broadcasting 24/7 with everything from metal favorites to the 80s classic rock like legendary Leonard Skinner, Electric Light Orchestra, Foreigner, and bone-rattling, skull-crushing rock and roll on hard driving radio. Bear Factory, Stone Temple Pilots, Def Leppard, and a whole lot more. HDRadionetwork.com. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude.
Our Factor 2 servers now available at hostelecontact.com. You order your server now at the introductory price of only $1.49 USD per slot. We will automatically upgrade your server to the full release R Factor 2 game as soon as it is released from beta. Hostelecontact.com now offering R Factor 2 beta servers for all pre-release orders. Our pre-release price is $1.49 a slot. This price will be adjusted as we evaluate resource usage, Racer's anti-cheat, and R Factor hot lots will be available soon. And we are back live here, Kansas Speedway, here tonight with the Stock Car Evolution ESRL Elite Pro Series. And tell you what, Cowboy, these boys are putting on quite the show. We have been caution-free, 65 laps in the books here at Kansas. Green flag pit stops have been completed, so we're looking for the next set here to happen here in about another 25 laps or so. Couple of cars out here we're watching, possibly working on some kind of strategy, and we thought the 21 car might have been one of them. He had issues getting on pit road. Now he's cut all the way back 23 seconds off the pace in 9th position, still inside the top 10. But the ones that we were watching here tonight, Gary Cross, back here in 10th position, managed to keep that car running through green flag pit stops as long as I think he got more mileage out of those tires than anybody else here tonight. But I want to take it down to Ray Chandonnet. Ray, you and I were talking here during the break about another plug-in. I guess it's a plug-in, something available to these drivers that Mike Kuhn has developed. That just like the big boys, pit box choice.
Yeah, that's right. Mike Kuhn took it on his own. He's part of the development team with SCE, and he got to playing with seeing if we could have the different pit stalls. The drivers don't actually pick the pit stalls yet. We're trying to get to that point, but right now, after they qualify, they don't necessarily get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to the back. Second place car could be at the last pit stall, and fourth place might be at the entrance, just past the entrance to the garage area, just like the big boys do. It throws more realism into the sim.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of forces them into working out some kind of strategy. I mean, races are often won off a pit road as well, not just out here on the track. So interesting thing coming out of these guys here tonight. Of course, there are some updates to this particular game that even I was unaware of here coming into a Friday night. But I tell you, we can go into some of that detail a little bit later on. But I tell you something. Why don't we go ahead and plug the Stock Car Evolution? 2012 brings intensity, grit, and roaring sound of NASCAR to the PC and R Factor. Stock Car Evolution 2012, scratch-built stock car simulator. I'll tell you, they got guys like Joel Brown, Mike Schreiner working on this thing. Plug-ins coming from guys like Mike Kuhn. And I'll tell you, it's been in development since 2005, and it's a very highly detailed. I mean, watch the broadcast, Cowboy. You can't get any better than that. Very highly detailed simulation, new levels of detail in physics and the graphics. I tell you, Cowboy, have you got what it takes? You can find out. StockCarEvolution.com. And when you're over there, you say howdy to Gary Madu over there. And he'll be glad you got in touch over there. And looks like we've had another one expire tonight. Actually, a couple. Greg Gurkin at that number 10 machine has put his car behind the wall. Gary Madu has also, of course, this is back on lap 56. Apparently, Gary Madu having brake problems with his machine. He might be still hanging around the garage area down there. Let's see if we can't get him up on the radio and find out what happened to the 63 car. But in the meantime, Philip Stocks putting on quite the show out here tonight. Started out there on the pole with McKeever on the outside. Right now they're running 1-2 with Warren Peed, your points leader, who started 10th and has calmly and methodically worked his way up inside the top 5. Joel Brown also working his way forward. He sits in 4th position in the number 6 car of Dan Mueller. He's sitting in 5th. And I believe we've got Gary Madu on the radio. Gary, you got us, bud?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, man, I can see my monitor over here. In fact, I see that cameraman standing next to you, standing by your hauler. What happened to the car tonight?
Something broke. We were just going into the turn, and it just whipped, and apparently it's my brakes.
So I love that. You know, you can tell a car driver from a mechanic when you ask him what happened. I don't know, something broke. But hey, 56 laps in, we're looking at the telemetry. It looks like something with your brakes. Are brakes an issue here tonight, or?
No, it's just the way we arranged it tonight. We went more of a rear brake, and even though it helped turn the car on long runs, and it did work for us tonight.
Now, you know, we were talking down there in the garage earlier. I think you were part of that gang down there. We were hearing about 40 laps, maybe, on tires, and they were pretty much right. At about 40 laps, we started seeing a few issues, guys getting a little bit sideways. I think you had some issues, too, getting sideways coming off of turn 4 there once. And is that pretty prevalent? You seeing a lot of that here tonight from the cockpit, or looks like some of these guys are pretty good to go?
Well, I'll tell you what, after lap 10, after lap 12, you're really focusing on your car. It's you're sort of really focusing on keeping the car under control, because the car is really going through a lot of changes after lap 10. And, you know, 15 is different from 20, and 25 is a lot different, and then it goes different even more, and it's pretty hairy out there.
You bet. Gary Matter, the driver of the 63 car, unfortunately out of the race here tonight, back on lap 56. Brake issues on that car. But Gary, you're welcome to either hang out up here in the booth, or come on up to the booth with us and enjoy the rest of the race, or you can sit down here in your hauler and mope if you want.
Well, if you're going to keep me here, you're going to have to expect me to talk.
Well, we can arrange for that too.
There you go.
John says put him back in the hauler. John's downstairs, John Westling. We call him Magic Fingers back at the office. I tell you, Cowboy, you know, there's a lot of people out there that try to broadcast these races. There is no better camera operator than John Westling. And once you've seen one of his broadcasts, you'll never watch anybody else's, I guarantee you. In fact, you can see it at etv-eplay.net. And check us out, the archives over there. There are just over 600 events, broadcasts that we've done, archived up at etv-eplay.net. And I tell you, no better in the business than ETV Live.
Yeah, JD, and now we're about lap 80, so we're gonna see people more like Warren Peed and Joel Brown coming back down on pit road.
You bet. And remember, it was about, I think we were going to call it about lap 47 when that first bunch of pit stops took place. So here we are again at 80 laps in the books here at Kansas. So critical time here for these guys. You know, is one more pit stop going to do it? We talked about that a little bit. If they split it in two, they're looking at 40 plus laps. And remember, the tail end of that 40 laps on those tires, and that could be a very critical time when you you know, got to spur that pony on the last 10 laps and get that racing on that we usually see. So a critical time here coming at us, as we should be seeing some green flag pit stops here very shortly.
Well, yeah, JD, if they come down now, it'd be a 53 lap run to the end, which we saw Gary Cross do, so it's not impossible to happen. And I think that's what Gary Cross is maybe testing out the waters, doing his long run first, then doing his 2 short runs later on in the race to maybe gain all that time back that everybody else is going to lose. So we'll have to watch and keep an eye on that car, Gary Cross, and especially people like Warren Peed, who pitted really early that last time, maybe extending his middle run, maybe extending his last run, and I think that's really where the strategy is going to come in.
You bet. And remember, we talked about Gary Cross. He finished 29th here at Kansas last time out. That was all the way back in April. So, you know, a little bit of redemption coming for him, I think. But I tell you, he's been working a calculator here long before he got to the Speedway here tonight for sure. As he's got a few more laps, fresher tires on that machine. So strategy working for that 69 machine? I don't know. We'll see. In the meantime, out in front, it's the McKeever stock show. It's been that way pretty much all night long. Warren Peed in 3rd. Joel Brown still in 5th with Mueller. Ray Moss hanging out here in 6th position, that 24 car. He's about, let's call it about 20 seconds off the pace here, guys. So that 24 car saving his equipment here?
He could be. I think the best battle to watch right now is that 6 and 5 car of Joel Brown and Dan Mueller. Those two are battling it out pretty good.
Dan Mueller back here in 5th position. He's got Joel Brown dead ahead. And, you know, this is pretty late in the run here to be doing battle, so I'm not sure what these guys are expecting going to happen here, but green flag pit stop should be coming our way here in just about 4 or 5 laps, I would think. So we'll see what happens, but you're right, that's pretty much the only battle happening out here right now. 5th and 6th position, or 4th and 5th position, excuse me, with Joel Brown and Dan Mueller. It looks like Brown might be pulling away from Mueller here just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like Brown is picking up the pace just a tiny bit for right now as Mueller fell back about a car length. But maybe Bob and Ray can enlighten us on the kind of personalities Tom McKeever, Philip Stocks have. Teammates both close, but I believe Philip Stocks 2 points ahead of Tom McKeever right now, both 2nd and 3rd place in points. Stocks 12 points back and McKeever 14. Will they work their finishing positions to maybe even themselves out but still gain points on Warren Peed? So do you think Stocks can give McKeever the win and maybe so they'll be more even in points heading on into the chase?
No way. No way in this world. Philip Stocks wouldn't give his mother a break when it comes to racing. He wants that trophy. Those two guys are so even. It's incredible. Tom is smooth as ice behind the wheel. I mean, he just knows how to handle that car. Philip is just a jackrabbit. He gets around there. I don't know how he does it. It just blows my mind. But those two boys may be teammates, but when they hit that track, they are competing. They both want to win bad.
Would you say that these guys would rough each other up, even though maybe they're going to be best friends after the race, coming to that white flag, they'll rough each other up a little bit?
They might rough each other up, and they'll shake hands and kiss and make up after the race. But if it comes down to a chance at stealing a win, either one is apt to do it, beyond a shadow of a doubt. The chrome horn has been honked a few times.
Yeah, you can definitely count on looking at an Earnhardt bump somewhere around turn 3 or 4 when it comes right down at the end.
Yeah, those boys, they're good. I mean, Warren Peed is another one that if he's close enough, he'll take it from you if he can. Joel Brown, all of them guys, the top 5, top 7 really. Well, shoot, I'm looking down the list now, and
Warren
each one of
Peed
those
hit pit
guys,
road.
if they get the chance, they'll do it.
Warren Peed's coming down pit road.
You bet.
the
Then
third
our
place
points
car.
leader, absolutely points leader, 61 machine, Warren Peed, making his pit stop, 89 laps in the books here at Kansas Speedway, guys. So green flag pit stops starting now. Travis Joyner in that number 19 machine making his stop on his way out. So green flag stops coming our way, guys.
Here, guys, and this is going to put him, I'm trying to do the math right now in my head, about 44, 45 laps out pitting right now. So they definitely can make it to the end on tires, no worry there. So it's really going to be like, did these guys pit too early where the tires are going to wear off and they'll be too sluggish at the end to make their move? Or did they pit at the right time and they'll gain up all the time that they need to get in on these pit stops? So it's really crucial where they pit, and JD, I'm one that's going to come down and pit as early as I can, like guys like Warren Peed, to try and make that run to the end. And I know maybe you have a little bit of different strategy on what you think's right.
You know, I'm watching the 69 machine of Gary Cross as we watch Joel Brown and Dan Mueller both coming down, making their pit stops. The 5 car smokes him to a stop in his box. It'll be 4 new shoes and a bucket of oats for him. But getting back to Gary Cross, now remember, he's got 6 or 7 extra laps on those tires as he makes them work for him here right now. So my strategy, I think I'm going with Gary Cross. I'm going to stay out as long as I can possibly keep the tires underneath that car and shorten the distance between now and the end of the race. So when I have to come in and pit, I might be able to do it in 30 laps, not 44 laps like the rest of these guys.
Yeah, early on we talked maybe that he'd run that gas out, trying to make his run to the end, going half and half on this race. But JD, pitting on lap 58 last time, that's going to put him about probably a little under 70 laps to the end. If I'm doing my math right, a little over 70 laps. That's definitely not going to happen for him. He's got to make a pit stop at some point. It's just, when is that going to come for him?
Hey, I just got word that the 6 car just got a drive-through.
The 6 car,
Dan Mueller.
we're hearing the 6 car of Mueller, guys, with a drive-through. That's going to hurt. Sitting in 9th position, Dan Mueller is going to have to come down pit road and serve a penalty, so that's going to set him back quite a ways.
Yeah, JD, he had a really strong run going for a while for him, and now he's going to come down and serve that penalty. Definitely a setback. He's really going to have to hope a caution comes out. But these guys all night long hadn't really seen anything like that happen. But I just want to go back to 4th and 5th right now. You've got Philip Stocks, Tommy Keeper, our leader before this was cycling through. They took a little bit of the same strategy they did last time, JD. Stocks pitted first, McKeever went in second, and then they lined right back up with each other on the track, pretty much. And Warren Peed closed in again, but he didn't close the entire gap like he was able to last time, still probably about 5-6 seconds out of the lead.
You bet. Gary Cross takes the lead, score a bonus point for the 69 machine here tonight. And last time out here in April, Warren Peed, of course, we've said that he won the race here back on April 22nd. Finishing second that night was Travis Joyner. And Travis, of course, has had his issues here tonight. He's running 2 laps down in that number 19 machine in 10th place. And then of the top 10 chase drivers here, the next one in line would be Dustin Storm, who finished 5th here last April at Kansas Speedway. So of the top 3 here, Warren Peed, Travis Joyner, and Dustin Storm, who did not make the race here tonight, Warren Peed pretty much may come out with the trophy here tonight based on stats only, but we're still watching that 69 machine of Gary Cross.
Dan Mueller in the number 6 is just clearing pit road now, having done his drive-through, so he's got a ton of work ahead of him.
Well, I just got word that he got another one.
Oh, another. Oh, Dan Mueller getting a second penalty, too fast leaving pit road. That will bring him down a second time, and he will go down 2 laps for sure here tonight, and that's going to be awfully tough to make up. 97 laps in the books as Mueller peels off, hits pit road, hits the commit line. We'll watch his speed here, and he's got to keep it under, I believe it's 45 miles an hour, if I'm not mistaken, guys.
No, he's got a 5-mile-an-hour buffer. He can bring it up to 49.9999, but if he hits 50, he's dead.
All right. And I'll tell you, that's got to hurt, though. He's going to go down a couple of laps. First car 1 lap down is going to be Ray Moss. So if the lucky dog happens to show its face here tonight, he'll get that opportunity to get that lap back here at Kansas Speedway. But green flag pit stops pretty much underway here. Gary Cross out in front with Philip Stocks and Tom McKeever. You're pretty much your front row here chasing him down. And now they're sure to overtake him here. Gary Cross working on a lot older tires. Well, it depends on how you look at it, too. Older tires and the rest of them, sure, but Gary Cross is on a completely different pit strategy. So we're watching him very closely here.
Yeah, JD, Gary Cross losing about over a second a lap, about 1.2 seconds a lap right now. Just to give you guys an idea, out there, the speeds that they're hitting in the middle of the turn, about 155 at the beginning of the run. Watching Gary Cross's speeds these last couple laps, he's dropping down to about 140 in the middle of the turn, so definitely giving up most of the speed in the turn and probably on exit.
$133 laps on the board. We got 33 more to go. We just hit the 100 lap mark here at Kansas Speedway. I want to throw a plug out there. And, you know, when Bob and Ray and Gary Madu up here in the booth, if you guys have not checked this out, you got to do it. etv-eplay.net. Check out the ETV Live Radio. Always pushing the bar just a little bit further. Proud to introduce ETV Live Radio, supported by HD Radio Network. And of course, HD Radio features classic rock and roll 24/7. You can also catch live events such as race day broadcasts right from the booth. Open Paddock Live on Tuesday nights at 9:30. And hey, catch the Winner Is Motorsport Show with Wesley Outland on Monday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. ETV Live Radio right there on the front page, etv-eplay.net. We're listed on iTunes. We're listed on TuneIn.com, TuneIn Radio. Also, the Windows Media Guide picking us up as well. So ETV Live Radio, if you like to rock your brains out to some classic rock, get on over there and click on that link there on the front page.
Mike Kuhn is on pit road in the 25 machine. He's getting 4 tires and enough gas to finish his baby up.
Looks like no adjustments. We're hearing, too, the 25 car of Mike Kuhn, 4 tires, and he's down and on his way
he's going to get a penalty, I believe.
Keep an eye on we'll keep an eye on Kuhn here. We're hearing that he may have gotten a penalty.
Hey, Ray, and maybe you guys can enlighten us. So you say they have the 5-mile-an-hour buffer. Is there any chance once they hit maybe 150 or 51 miles an hour that they have maybe a slight second to reduce their speed before that black flag pops up, or is it you hit it and you're dead?
You hit it and you're dead. Your 45-mile-an-hour pit speed with the 5-mile-an-hour buffer. If you hit 50, you're going to get a penalty.
There's no.
Mike Kuhn's entering pit road again.
There he goes again. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you hit 50, you get the penalty.
Sounds like that comes from experience, boys.
Oh, yeah. Been
yes.
there, done that. He'll get a 10-second stop and go for this one.
All right, then Mike Kuhn, I tell you, looks like he just decided to end the night here tonight, and Mike Kuhn pushing that 25 machine behind the wall, done for the night. Let's see if we can't get Mike Kuhn up here in the booth. At least get him on the radio.
JD, he's the second guy to struggle here with the pit road speed limit. We also saw Dan Mueller get the back-to-back speeding penalties. I mean, Kuhn wasn't back-to-back, but he got that speeding penalty, and he's like, you know what, I'm done. But the number 6, Dan Mueller, out there in 10th place right now, still holding on, 2 laps down. The last car, he's the last of the cars that are still racing, but he thinks maybe he can probably pick up a position from Mike Hebb in the 9th position. He's also 2 laps down. Looking up towards the front, though, Gary Cross, they've cut his lead down from 10 seconds to 2.8 seconds. Stocks, McKeever, both on the move here. Not quite sure when Gary Cross is going to pit, but I think he's doing more hurt than good to himself at this point, so he's got to surrender that lead pretty soon.
Yeah, the 29 is closed within 2.6 seconds of the 69 of Gary Cross, so I think he just may be in a little bit of trouble here.
guy's taking his helmet off and rode it on the hood down here. The driver of the number 25 car, Mike Kuhn, on the radio. Mike, you had to push it behind the wall. Tell us what happened, bud.
Just wasn't my day. Been fighting loose in all day and it wasn't getting any better and had 2 speeding penalties. So that just kind of ended my day with the way the race is going with no yellow flags coming out. Seems like.
You know, you're down a couple of notches this week, but you're still inside the top 10 in the points, sitting there at 38 under Warren Peed. What is the rest of the season looking for you?
All I can hope for is to win a couple more races. The tracks come up like at Texas or Homestead, but Warren's pretty much got me beat, and he's got a good lead on second and third, so he's just trying to hold his own tonight.
You bet. Well, I'll tell you what, top 10 finish last time here at Kansas. You finished 6th, but sorry to see that 25 machine not get the checkered flag here tonight.
And JD, I got a question for him before we let him go. Gary Cross, man, he's out here on about probably a 60-lap run right now. Do you think he's really stretched his runs on these tires and everything? And what would your comment be for him going almost 60 laps on each run of his tires?
Anything over about 45, it's really more of a detriment in time-wise than he could gain on the tires. He's going to wind up finishing back in the pack, I think.
Alright, so you guys heard it from a driver who's been in this race for a while. Gary Cross doing more harm to himself than good, so he's probably going to hurt himself in the points more than he thought he's going to. Philip Stocks, Tom McKeever already worked their way by him and gaining time. So Gary Cross probably not going to make it to the end, but can you enlighten us on the gas? Maybe he thinks that these tires can last to the end. So how many laps were you getting on gas, do you think?
I could run about 47, 48 maybe, but that's about it on fuel.
Well, JD, I guess that's mystifying where he pulled out those extra 10 laps at the beginning of this race here, making it 58 laps before his first pit stop. He is off the pace, which helps conserve gas, but not quite sure what his strategy is still.
You bet, and big thanks to Mike Kuhn, and sorry that you had to end your race here tonight from Kansas Speedway, but I'll tell you what, best of luck to you in the upcoming races here in the Elite Pro Series.
Thanks, guys, for covering the race. Enjoyed it. Have a good night.
All right, Mike Kuhn having to end the race here tonight, and I'll tell you what, I'm still watching the 69 machines. Right now he's in 3rd place, and you know, I don't think it's over for him yet, Matt. You know, 112 laps in the books already. I mean, it's going to be 20 some odd laps if he came in now, versus the 20 or more that are already on some of these cars out here. So you know, would he have an advantage here? I don't know.
Well, JD, like I said, I've been watching, and it's about a lap and a half race speed on pit road, so I think he's just really holding out, hoping somebody else wrecks, not realizing how far he's really spread out. But once he does pit, I think, if anything, he's going to be back there fighting with Paul Rogers and Ray Moss for 6th and 7th place, which is, it's still not a horrible finish, but for points, like with people like Gary Peed, he's going to put himself back a few more points, and now he's coming down pit road to probably put 4 fresh tires and fill that thing up with gas and make his final run to the end.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that situation as Gary Cross inches his way down pit road, and I mean inches. You do not want to get a speeding penalty now as he pulls into his pit box, and I'll tell you what, the right side will go up, and they'll put a set of tires on. It'll be a full tank of gas to send him back out with less than what, about 20 some odd laps here to go here, guys. So Gary Cross, you know what, it ain't over yet till the fat lady sings. That's what I always say up here in the booth. So this game ain't over yet, Cowboy.
I believe he only took right sides on that one, fellas.
2 tire change for that 69 machine, so we'll see what he's got. Will the left side tires make it all the way to the end here at Kansas Speedway? This is a tough track as this thing starts to wind down.
Yeah, just winding down on these closing laps. So to see Philip Stocks, Tom McKeever just both riding it easy here. Stocks, a teammate of Tom McKeever, actually pulling out to the 1.4 second lead. They're no longer running as close as they were before. So it looks like Stocks pretty much has this wrapped up unless he's worn out his tires, and McKeever is going to be able to gain on him in these next couple of laps coming to the end.
You bet. As Gary Cross goes down the backstretch here, next time across the line, we'll check his speed or his time at the line and compare that with the leaders and see what he's got. You know, work the calculator, see if he can pull it out in the next 16 laps. So Gary Cross with a 2-tire change coming across the line, and looks something. Well, I'm still not getting telemetry on him yet. Looks like 32.176. And Philip Stocks, our leader up here in the front, 32.491. So I don't know. You do the math. What do you think is going to happen?
I honestly think Stocks has this in the bag. He's been pulling away from McKeever the last 20 laps or so and just continues to do so. McKeever in second place. We can watch him riding right on that white line through the turns, backing up a little bit earlier, gaining here or there at some points, but mainly losing. So Stocks pretty much has this in the bag. He just could have realized to cool his head down, not be such a jackrabbit like these guys described him as, and just take care of his tires, and I think he'll be fine to go to the end from where they pit.
I'll tell you what, Gary Cross, he's burning up the track. He's running about 7-8 tenths of a second faster, 31.7s to 32.2s. So we'll see what he's got. But you know, the other thing too, he's got to make up that lap as well. So he's got to get past Philip Stocks and McKeever up here. Warren Pete sitting up here in third. So I don't know. Will he make it? I don't think so.
It's all going to be a game, JD, watching down to the end to see what happens with these guys. Philip Stocks now putting Ray Moss down a lap. Finally, it looks like he was able to keep up there for a while. And also Paul Rogers. Ray Moss went around Paul Rogers not too long ago for that 5th place position. Moss trying to pick up a top 5 for himself tonight and maybe not lose so many points in the chase. But just mainly these guys out front, I'm going to pay attention to, because anything could happen with Stocks and McKeever, Warren, all these guys unpredictable with the tires tonight, unpredictable with their pit stops. Just these different lines and strategies I'm seeing, JD. It's just, I don't know quite what's going to happen in the closing laps.
You know, and the bottom line being preferred line around Kansas Speedway here, guys. So he's got Rogers, Moss, and Brown to get through. You know, before he gets up there to Pete, McKeever, and Stock. So keep an eye on that 69 machine. But in the meantime, back here in 6th position, Mike Hebb in the 11 car to the outside with Rogers down here on the bottom. I believe Mike Hebb is several laps down, 3 laps down. So pulling up out of the way, letting the faster cars go by. That's the polite thing to do here for sure. As the laps start winding down, 1 more to go, and we'll have 10 left here at Kansas.
Update on the 85 car. He just put her in the fence a little bit and did some right front damage. So I think his chances of taking this thing tonight are pretty well done.
Yeah, waiting for my telemetry here to update, but as it was looking before, Joel Brown closing in on Warren Pede slowly but surely in the closing laps. Joel Brown was the fastest car a couple laps ago on the track, gaining time actually on your leader, but also gaining time quickly on Warren Pede, climbing down to these closing laps. That's going to be the battle to watch, JD.
You bet. Joel Brown only about 8 tenths of a second off of Warren Pede up there in front. Of course, both of those cars about 6 seconds off Tom McKeever up there in the front with Philip Stocks. So, you know, will they have time left here at Kansas Speedway with very few laps left?
Yeah, JD, and let's go back to Ray and Bob for the guys who really have experience racing in this sim. When Joel catches them on such old tires, is there going to be a different line to work his way around on the high side or on the low side here at this track? Which do you think he's going to prefer once he catches Warren Pede?
I think he's going to try to get Warren to drift up, and he's going to take him on the inside. That's
Warren.
Probably the preferred line tonight, is keeping her down to that white line in the corners and in slow, roll through the corner and come out. Watch him. That's exactly what he's doing. So if Warren doesn't mind his P's and Q's, he's going to get took here.
One of the nasty habits that Warren tends to have is when the driver's coming up on him, he tends to mirror watch a little bit more than he should.
You bet. 8 laps to go here at Kansas Speedway, and the way this is shaking out, Philip Stocks has been up in front pretty much the whole entire night. He started up there with Tom McKeever. Tom McKeever's currently running in second place back here, but Warren Peed and Joel Brown, that's pretty much where the battle will happen, if it happens at all. And it looks like Joel Brown is slipping backwards here a little bit, guys. He's almost 0.8 of a second in back of Warren Peed for fourth position. So not sure whether he's going to have enough time to even get there or not. But Tom McKeever and Philip Stocks, certainly the act of the night here at Kansas Speedway, out in front. They've got a very comfortable lead, almost 8 seconds over Warren Peed.
JD looking back up front in the first place position. Philip Stocks slowing down. Ray Moss has actually raced his way back around Philip Stocks to get his lap back. So that puts Ray Moss back on the lead lap, and he's pulling away from Philip Stocks. So Philip Stocks seems to be slowing down on these closing laps, but still faster than Tom McKeever. But actually lost a lot of time to Warren Peed, about a second back to Warren Peed. And Joel Brown just gained a little bit more in on Warren Peed. If we go back to the 4th position, he picked up a few tenths, now within 3/10 of Warren Peed coming into these closing 5 laps.
You bet. McKeever sits 2 seconds off the pace up there in back of Philip Stocks. Battle happening back here, 4th and 3rd position, Warren Peed and Joel Brown. We're seeing if Joel Brown on the number 5 machine can catch up to Warren Peed and make a last lap pass, maybe. He is closing the distance as Warren Peed looks like the front end of his car getting a little bit loose coming off the turn. Turn number 4 going down the front stretch here. And I tell you, Joel Brown seems to catch up and close the distance in the turn. He's losing it down the straightaways, though, here, guys. So I tell you what, it may be a matter of time here as we start closing this one out here. But keep an eye on 3rd and 4th. Looks like Philip Stocks has pretty much got it in the bag. All he has to do is stay out of trouble with lap traffic ahead. So we'll see what he can do to get to that start-finish line.
JD, I'm looking at the points, and I'm trying to figure out where they are. And it looks like Joel's not in the top 10. So for him to gain that position is just going to be for his own pride. But for the other guys, Philip Stocks, Tom McKeever, that's a whole nother point for them as they're way out in front of Warren Peed here. So they're really hoping that this pass gets done. Joel Brown out here racing for his pride at this point, having fun with these boys, and probably won't be too afraid to rough it up and maybe even put himself at risk to gain that position, just because, you know what, that's what racers do when they're out here to have fun, just like we saw the other night. They weren't afraid to rub each other and put each other all on the wall. So coming down these closing laps could be really interesting for that points leader, Warren Peed.
You bet. I'll tell you what, about a lap and 3/4 to go. So next time around, they'll be picking up that white flag here at Kansas Speedway as this thing starts to wind down. Still watching the action back here. 3rd and 4th position, Joel Brown. Warren Peed down at the bottom. Brown's going to hang out up the top. He has closed the distance on the bumper of Warren Peed up here in the front. This is for position only, guys. Remember, Joel Brown not in the chase here. Warren Peed, your points leader here tonight. Bumper to bumper across the line. White flag lap. This is it, Cowboy. It's a done deal. Philip Stocks out in front of McKeever by 2.5 seconds. Watching Warren Peed and Joel Brown final time around off of turn 2 down the backstretch. We'll take Joel Brown looking for a pass here. Peed's going to cover the bottom, gets in early into the turn here. No place for Joel Brown to go in that 5 machine. Coming through the final turn here off turn 4 down the front stretch. Warren Peed's going to beat him to the line for position. 3rd place here at Kansas Speedway. Philip Stocks taking a trophy home tonight with Tom McKeever in that 85 car and Warren Peed. Joel Brown in 4th. Ray Moss, a very respectable top 5 finish for that 24 car here at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, JD, looking just like the other night at Charlotte. Warren Peed cut off that bottom line, and just Joel Brown couldn't get it done on that high line. High line very tight, obviously, looking at these guys racing all night long. I really thought Warren Peed was going to slide up the way he dove into that turn, but he definitely got the brakes down, got the stick right on that bottom line. Cutting off Joel Brown, nothing Joel Brown could do about that one.
You bet. I tell you what, clean and green all the way here from Kansas Speedway. When does that ever happen, Cowboy? I tell you, big hand to these guys here tonight. Last time out, 8 cautions, but I tell you, they must have learned something between then and now, and they certainly put on a heck of a show here tonight. Philip Stock's burning what's left of the tires off. Can't be a whole lot left after some of that pit road strategy we've been watching here all night. But I'll tell you what, while he does that, why don't we go ahead and step away? Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, the Hostile Contact post-race show here from Kansas Speedway. So don't wander off. We'll be right back.
All right, we're back here with the ESR Stock Car Evolution team, and JD's caught up with our top 3 people. So JD, let's roll them through and get with some information from these guys.
All right, I'll tell you what, we didn't even get a chance to sort this out, but I'll tell you what, let's start out with Warren Peed. Warren, I tell you, coming in the points leader here tonight to Kansas Speedway. Last time out, you took the trophy home, a 3rd place finish here tonight. Tell us about your race, bud.
Well, very enjoyable race at Green, run from Green to Checker, so can't complain about that. But yeah, once Phil and Tom got away to that 4 or 5 second lead in the first stint, even though I was lapping very similar times to them, I just could not peg back that lead. And then once again, as we pitted, they got that gap back again. So great run, guys.
Talk of the night here, Warren, was pit strategy, fuel strategy for sure. Of course, we spent some time earlier before the race down in the garage. Of course, crew chief's not willing to give up a whole lot of information, but you know, as far as fuel goes. But tires were an issue. We heard from about 40 laps plus, looking at some issues that might play out. Was that an issue for your machine here tonight? Looked like you were rolling pretty good.
Yeah, I split them into about 43, 44 lap stops, but yeah, you're right, once we got to about 35 laps, the tyres were like jelly, and I was lucky to hold off fast finishing Joel Brown my last 2 or 3 laps there. But once again, thanks to Mike Kuhn for the team car, and of course the Hostile Contact for sponsoring a great series once again.
I'll tell you what, another coat of wax, and we'll see you at Chase Race number 7 next week. Who made it happen for you tonight, bud?
Yeah, like I said, team captain Gary Cross and Mike the mechanic, Mike Kuhn, he always produces great machines.
Outstanding. I'm going to throw it on up to, I believe, Ray Channonnet standing by with our 2nd place finisher here tonight, Tom McKeever.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
All right. Sweating a little.
A little white knuckle towards the end there, wasn't it? Great job, buddy. You gave Philip all he could handle for the longest time here. Even took the lead a couple times. Tell us about your run.
Oh, well, had a real good car, and Phil being my teammate, we share information and everything, so I knew I had a challenge ahead of me. But I think I was just a little bit better real late in the run. The car started out tight, and then it would come to me. So all in all, I mean, it was a real good run. Lap traffic was a problem there towards the end, but great race, green flag racing all the way through. Loved it. Had a blast.
Yeah, I saw you. I was kind of on you there towards the end of the race, seeing you hold your own with Philip, and correct me if I'm wrong. I believe I saw you scrape the fence a little bit on that right front, and you started losing time on him then, and I kind of knew you were in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I was driving it a little too hard there, and clipped the front stretch apron a little bit, and that got me a little squirrely, and I slid up into the wall going into one.
Yeah, you put up a good fight. I'll tell you, Philip ran this morning in the Road Dog Series and lapped the field, so you being able to stay up on him, he was worried about you. We'll be talking to him in a minute, and I'll almost guarantee you, you were his big worry of the night, and you proved it to be true. You stayed right on his butt pretty much the whole race, and kept his eyes in the mirror. Good job. Congratulations on that second place finish, bud.
Thanks, Ray.
All right, and I believe Matthew is standing by with our race winner tonight, Philip Stocks.
Hey Phil, and congratulations on the win. Got to say that first off for you tonight, and just a strong car all night, especially working with your teammate for most of the night. On that last pit stop, you came in a couple laps earlier, I believe, but what really got it done for you tonight?
Thank you, Matt. I have to throw out a big thank you to my teammate Tom over there at Hammerdown Motorsports, and the whole team for that matter. I mean, we do share information, and I was running a lot of Tom's stuff under the hood tonight, and it was a rocket. It was good early, late in the run. It was just one of those cars that you get every once in a while, and yeah, it was strong. So I'd have to say that Tom made it happen more than anything for me tonight. He gave me some pointers that really turned that setup around, and yeah, he kept me worried. I heard the interview with Ray. Yeah, I was definitely thinking Tom had something for me.
Yeah, Phil, and at the end there, in that lap traffic, the times were actually getting closer. McKeever gaining on you at all. Did you notice that and maybe get a little bit worried thinking that he'd be able to come quick enough?
Well, there again, I pitted a couple laps before Tom, and we were so equal out on the track, most of the race there, and I felt like I needed to do something to separate myself, so I short pitted just a hair, and dove down on pit road, got service there on that last stop, and I come out, and I think I had about a little over a second lead, and lap traffic. I came up on some lap traffic, and he cut that in half in one lap. So, then it just kind of worked out that the lap traffic then caught him, and I was able to separate myself, back out and get a second or a little over a second lead.
All right,
and
so
that's what I felt like I needed, was to get out in front of him and try to break that draft, because we were so even, and I knew that was my only chance.
All right, Phil, you obviously have great thanks to McKeever already, but is there anybody else out there that you'd like to thank you for getting it done?
Actually, I want to do something that might sound a little strange, but I'm going to dedicate this win to a real good buddy of mine that I lost earlier in the week, and my dog Copper. I had him for 19 years, and he's always been my race partner. He's always sat there at my feet while I was racing, so it was a big loss for me, and I'd like to dedicate this win to him.
All right, once again, congratulations to you in winning this race, obviously giving yourself a few more points towards catching Warren Peed for this Chase Championship, and I'm going to send it back over to JD, and I think JD's caught up with another special guest for us.
You bet. Gary Madu, who was in the race here tonight in that number 63 machine, of course, back on lap 56, had some issues with the car, had to park it, put it behind the wall. Gary, caution-free race here tonight. I understand you've got a few extra words.
Yeah, the guys just put on, a great show again. I know Ray and Bob can attest for it, that these guys are the best that we have, and it's a pleasure, man, putting on these events and all the background work. So, goes to hostile contact and all the work that you guys do. And to be rewarded with these type of races just makes all of us proud.
You bet, and we certainly appreciate that. And Matt and Ray and Bob, the guys up here in the booth, I'll tell you, a caution-free race here, a big change from last time out, last April. 8 cautions to get through the night. But tonight, watching guys like Gary Cross working a different strategy, he did manage a top 10 finish here tonight, 6th place. And he also managed to get back on the lead lap. So huge effort out of that 69 car here tonight, who we thought might have had something for these guys. But in all, like Gary said, what a wonderful time here tonight. Outstanding race, Matt.
Yeah, outstanding for these ESRL guys, and they've impressed me the past 2 times we've broadcasted for them. At least I've been here with UJD, and just that other night where they weren't afraid to rub and race because it wasn't a points race, but coming in tonight, obviously we saw a different mentality, JD. These guys keeping it off each other, running their lines like they should, and just being nice and easy with each other, at least down to the end where I thought Joel might rough somebody up and take him out. But JD, just amazing race for these guys, and maybe Ray or Bob have some closing statements for us too.
Well, we'd like to thank all the viewers out there for watching this race. They saw some of the best tonight. These guys are a class act. I'm proud to be associated with them, and I'm proud to be able to sit up here in the booth with you, Matt and JD, and good old John out there with the old buttons. Again, I thank you for having us up here, and have a good night.
Yeah, pretty much follow up what Bob says. Thank you guys. You guys do a bang-up job with this ETV Live gig. Really makes us look good. I'm glad we could showcase the best of the best with the best mod that's available online as far as I'm concerned. SCE with ESRL. Hostile Contact, thank you so much. Really appreciate all that you're doing for us. And hope we can keep this marriage going and keep it getting better and better. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, I do have a quick question to all you guys up here in the booth, because after the race I was doing PR stuff. Who won the race?
Who won the race?
Yeah.
Pull his passport.
You didn't.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
All right, I'll tell you what, that's going to wrap it up here for the Hostile Contact post-race show here from Kansas Speedway. But hey, wait, Cowboy, it ain't over yet. Tomorrow night, Monday night, Real Sim Racing, 9:20 p.m. It'll be chase race number 7 for them from Kentucky Speedway, I believe. And, of course, that follows from 6 to 8 p.m. And the Winners Motorsport Show. You want to join Wesley Atland, Mike Neff, and, of course, Midwest reporter Justin Rosenau from ETV Live on ETV Live Radio. That's the And the Winners Motorsport Show starting at 6 p.m. Eastern till 8 o'clock, and then 9:20 the RSR race from Kentucky. And then, of course, we'll be back here next Sunday night with the ESRL, the Elite Pro guys from Martinsville Speedway. That'll be their chase race number 7, I believe. And so a lot more fun action coming your way here on ETV Live, etv-eplay.net. So for all of our winners here tonight, Bob and Ray in the booth here, Matthew Close, of course, John, the bad boy Wessling, we like to call him Magic Fingers, working those magic camera buttons for you tonight. From ETV Live, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.